Hello, happy Tuesday. Welcome to a short instructional video that is showing you what we are doing. Today, we're going to be gathering evidence, which is like page numbers and quotes that help answer this week's big question. And so I'm going to show you how that's going to work. We already read this language goal. Here's the big week. Here's the week 3 big question. I did change it just a little bit. What are stereotypes, especially racist stereotypes? And then I wanted to focus it more on the graphic novel. So, how and why does the author use them in our graphic novel? Okay, so let's see how we're going to do that. On the next page, which is your guided practice page, I do have a shared evidence chart where we can kind of share information with each other, which is going to be pretty helpful. But let me move us ahead to the independent practice. This is what you're going to be doing on your own. And what you're going to do is you're going to be reading and taking notes. So far, I have assigned up to page 55. I want you to end up getting to page 70. But first, I want you to go back over what you've already read. The book is linked here. It's also linked here. And I want you to look for page numbers and quotes that connect with this week's big question. We're going to do this a little bit together during the guided practice. And then I want you to add those notes to page, oh, it might be page 12 or 13 of your paper and pencil notebook. And let me show you what that looks like. So if you need help getting your notebook set up, you can click here on this image. It's going to open up the teacher notebook template. Here we got the table of contents. If I scroll down to page 12, I can see some notes that I was taking. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to also open up my copy of the book here. And the example of a stereotype, a racist stereotype that was used in the book, came up in our class discussion yesterday, and I wanted to show you what was mentioned. It's kind of down here on page 35. It was pretty early on. It was kind of right after this, this fun memory moment with the old lady, and he says he wants to become a transformer, and then he says, but boys can't be transformers, and she says, oh, you can. It's easy to become anything you wish, so long as you're willing to forfeit your soul. Dun dun dun. I wanted to mention that because that'll definitely help us thinking about themes as we start to go. This is like an important moment in the book, but the piece of evidence that I wanted to share is so he starts up at his new school. Of course, the teachers all get his name wrong, um, and and then here's what I was looking at. So he gets kind of connected with the only other Asian in my class, who is Susie Nakamura. And it says, when the class finally figured out that we weren't related, rumors began to circulate that Susie and I were arranged to be married on her 13th birthday. And so that's an example of a racist stereotype, right? Because just by the fact that they look a certain way, or that they are that their families are from East Asia, they assume that there's something different about them, that they're going to get like they're in a prearranged marriage. And then it said we avoided each other as much as possible. So I wanted to keep track of the page number, page 31, and then I'm going to come over to my notebook, and I wrote something like this. It's a little messy. Page 31, rumors that he was arranged to be married at 13 to Susie Nakamura. Here, let me get rid of this line actually, or move it down right here. Haha, that's even better. And so this first part actually isn't a quote, right? It's me just kind of paraphrasing what's happening. But then I did add in a quote. It said, we avoided each other. As much as possible, or something like that. And so I added in a little bit of information and the quote that I thought was helpful. And then in this column over here, it says makes me think. So this is how I want this is how I'm suggesting that your notes are set up, is that you have some columns: page number, quote, and then makes me think. If you've got a different way of setting up your notes, that's cool. You can show it to me when you do your notebook check this afternoon or today. What I said, this makes me think. This makes me think that this is the kind of thing that actually happened. It shows how stereotypes push people apart. Like, I think that something like this probably happened to this author. right? This seems like pretty specific, like a pretty specific memory, and it shows how stereotypes push people apart because even though these two people could have been friends, because of this rumor and this stereotype that was going around, it turns out that we ended up avoiding each other as much as possible. So I thought that was like an important detail. So as you're continuing to scroll through what you've read, yeah, I mean, here's this other racist stereotype about eating dogs or something like that, and kind of shows like the bullying that he got. Of course, down here when we get to this next section, this whole thing right here, um, everyone loves Chinky. This is like the worst type of stereotype of all time. And so it shows kind of these like the really awful stereotypes starting on page 45, that used to be used or that maybe still are being used, to kind of slander, the Chinese American people. And so feel free to add in details from here. Why is the author using these stereotypes? What are these stereotypes? And why are they being used? So then you can add them to the notebook. And quick plug for the sharing is caring. So on the previous page, we've got this link here to the shared evidence chart. It's on the previous page right here as well. And so anything that you find, add it here. So I started to page 31. That was the one I found. Rumors spread, and I'll add in the rest of this in a second. But anything that you put here, if you find a good piece of evidence, share it with the rest of the class. This is the type of stuff that will really help everyone do well on the assessments that are coming up later this week, and also on the discussion on Friday. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Looking forward to working on this with you. Bye.